All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Solar Panel Pro. We are the company that's making solar smarter. We're gonna be going over a couple important things today. I wanted to first introduce myself. My name is Christopher Tricola. I'm one of the founders of the organization and one of the designers of the actual training program that we put together for you guys to make sure that you are certified and licensed through SPP to be able to properly sell solar to your customers and set proper expectations, and just overall just try to make this industry a little bit better in what it was designed to be. We're gonna be going over a bunch of fun stuff today. So I ask everybody to make sure you're jotting down your questions that come up along the way, and then when we get to the question portion, I will stop and we can cover what we've covered so far. Don't be offended if I don't answer your question that you ask at that portion, because if we haven't covered it yet, it means that we will. It's just not the right time to ask that question. So try to hold those questions of what you've seen and what's covered so far that you didn't understand. All right, let's do this. Just like with anything else, we have to set some proper expectations for you guys so that you know what we're going to be going over today. A couple things we're going to be going over. First one is going to be critical path. We're going to determine some of the strengths, some advertising methods, and then we're going to go over how solar works. We're actually going to talk about the company. We're going to talk about how solar works, and we're going to actually go into those questions at that point. There are some mid spots, so you will see that there's 4 different lesson plans in here today. We do have it scheduled up to 2 hours. We will try to make it a little bit faster than 2 hours, depending on how in-depth the conversations need to go into this stuff. But as far as what we're looking at today, there's 4 sections where we'll take a quick break, ask some questions, and then once we get to the hour mark, we're going to take a quick 5-10 minute break to let everybody use the potty and get something to drink. So, been doing this for a little while, and because of that, we've kind of put together some of the ideas about what we believe your questions are going to be. Everybody always has questions about paying bonuses, perks, vacations, benefits, how it works, the types of customers we're going to be going after, advancement in the company, scheduling, transportation, the company structure itself, who we are, and the future of the company. And these are all really exciting categories and things that we've put into this that we're going to talk to you about today. So the first thing that I want to make sure everybody understands is who you are and what it is exactly that you're planning on getting out of this training today. And the first one is making sure that you are delivering a proper expectation for yourself, and just a good way to understand how you're going to get the most out of this. And it's determining some of the strengths and weaknesses that you have. So the first type of person that we hire in this organization, and just understand we love you all equally, the graduate. This is the I know it all person. We all know this person. This is the do you know who I am when you walk in. This guy's been in sales for 15 years and he has all these accolades and awards. The guy who's going to raise his hand and say, yeah, but I do it this way. And when they ask a question, they finally build up the courage. Okay, you know what? Actually, I don't know this. How does this work? You start to answer that question, and then you know what? Never mind. I know. I'll figure it out. Right? That's the graduate. Now, they aren't always bad, but they aren't always good either. More often than not, they actually end up failing a lot quicker than some of these other people because they don't exactly move with the program and with the flow that it needs to go. Every organization is a little bit different, but the industry in a whole is exactly the same. And that's something important to understand. The graduate has a hard time breaking away from what they know to learn something new. The prisoner that's the trapped or defeated person that kind of sits in the back of the room. That's the person that they normally don't engage too much. They kind of have that negative attitude. They don't show very much interest in what's going on. We've all seen that person. We've all had that person in school growing up. They just kind of sit there and they just carve their name into a desk, or they're drawing weird stuff in the back of the classroom because they don't care what's going on up here. They're there because they have to, not because they want to be. And the vacationer. We love this person. They are a lot of fun. It's the class clown. This is the work husband or the work wife. This is the person that, they're doing backflips to entertain people. They're a lot of fun. One of the reasons a vacationer comes to work especially for an organization like this, is because it's exciting. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of really cool people. You can do a lot of really cool things. You can make a lot of money, do a lot of cool stuff. And the problem is that they're always on to the next shiny thing. So they have a tendency to get really distracted really, really quickly. And that's kind of one of the downsides to the vacation. So you got to make sure that, if you are that person, understand why. Why am I escaping reality to come work here? Is it just because, maybe you're going through something personal and this is your getaway, right? Dive into it, figure out, what that is and why you're like that. And the last one is the student. So the student is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to study. I'm hardworking. I'm reliable. I'm dedicated. I'm going to practice. With the problem with the student that can come up is that they're the overthinkers as well. This is a person that's will always prep, but sometimes never take action for it. So if you're that person, recognize that in yourself as well. Because that brings the question, who should I be, right? So the answer, if you're a graduate, great, be a graduate. So if you're not a graduate, try to be a graduate a little bit. So instead of being, I know everything, put that confidence in yourself. I know I can do this, right? I have the drive, I have the strength, I have the ability. You can't tell me I'm not good enough. These are those people that you hear out there that say, hey, look, somebody told me I couldn't do it, so I went out and I proved them wrong. So instead of being a graduate in general, be a graduate in your abilities for yourself, but don't block out any criticism. Don't block out the new programs. Don't block out the new styles. Be a prisoner to doubt and negativity. I don't believe that I can't do this, right? I'm be part of the 10% that's going to succeed and not the 90% that's going to crumble under pressure. And then be a vacation or student combo. Come in here to have fun. Enjoy and love what you do. Love being around the people, have fun, joke, laugh. And with that vacationer, they have I'm going to jump straight in. I'm going to dive straight in. I'm going to go in both feet. Take the studying aspect of the student and the drive and motivation to move forward with the vacationer and jump straight in, take your notes, study, practice, participate. And a combination of all four of these is how you actually determine your success, not just here, but anywhere you are. So this person is generally going to be your coach. This is your mentor. This is a person that's they've mastered their strengths and they admit their faults and their weaknesses. They've turned them into something a little bit better and a little bit more productive, right? This is me. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm bad at. I know what I need to rely on other people for. I know when I need to lean on somebody else, and I'm not afraid to ask for help along the way, right? I know that I can do it if I set my mind to it. And I know that I have people right next to me that can do what I can't, and I can get the answers that I need to get. And this is what you look for in a mentor. This is what you should be looking for in your coaches. And these are the coaches that we brought up in the organization as well. Just because they can sell doesn't mean it's going to be a good coach or mentor. Just because they can recruit doesn't mean they're going to be a good manager, right? We have to find somebody, and this is what we kind of want to work with all of our people, teach you guys how to become a full, well-rounded sales consultant, sales professional, to move you up in your career, to become a good mentor, a good coach, a good leader. So how do you fix this? Step number one, and I ask you guys to do this throughout the entire training. I want you to think of your mind a little bit like a parachute. There's only one way a parachute works. When it's open. All right. If that parachute doesn't open up, you will crumble and fall straight to the ground. And just imagine that being your career. Last thing you want to do is come into the solar industry with all this potential, all this opportunity to make a ton of money, to advance your careers and do a lot of really successful things for yourself along the way, and completely come in closed-minded because you have previous experience in the industry, you have previous sales experience, and you're not willing to accept any of the new things that we're going to be teaching you here today. If you do, if you keep your mind open, you'll be fine, and you'll glide right into the target, and you're going to be a successful contributor to the organization, and you'll be a great part of this community. If you don't let that parachute open, you're going to fall straight to the ground, and we'll miss you, but we'll be here when you want to open back up. All right. Quick thing I like to go through with everybody. Like I said, I want to make sure everybody's a little bit more well-rounded. So first thing we're going to talk about is how to take notes. We've all been taking notes our entire lives. We've all been taking them very specific ways, but we've also sometimes tried to do it different ways, and it just depends on how your brain works. Really quick, 5 minutes is how we're going to go over this. There's 5 different types of note-taking methods: outline method, Cornell method, mind map method, flow method, and then just writing on the slides, which is kind of lazy, which is exactly how I like to do it, because all the content's there and I could just write what I liked about it. But everybody is a little bit different, okay? The reason why I want to take a couple minutes to do this is because once you start going out into a customer's home, you're going to be asking them questions. You're going to be sitting down and getting really involved in what they're doing with their current electric plan, what they're doing, what they're using inside the home, what they plan on doing, what their future goals are, what their needs are, what their wants are. And if you're not taking the right notes that help you remember that stuff, you're going to be looking at a bunch of words on a piece of paper and it's not going to connect the dots. Main reason why we go over this. So the first one is the bullet method. It looks exactly like it does here on the screen, right? So you got your food and then you put it right underneath. So you put your main category right on the top and then you put the stuff in the bullets right underneath it that help you determine what was important in that conversation that lines up with that main subject that you put up at the top. The Cornell method. This is a sheet that's divided into, this is for the analytical mind, okay? It's divided into 3 sections. Your left cue is for the main subjects or topics. And then after the course, you write down the questions and the cues and the columns while still fresh in your mind. The right side is going to be where you take notes during class. And the bottom is your summary. So after the course, you go down there and what did I take out of this? This is a lot of students. If you recognize yourself when we're talking about the 4 types of people as a student, this is going to be that note-taking method that a lot of students generally love to do because they like to study. And the one thing that stuck out to them is going to be in that summary section. So if this is a good one for you, absolutely start doing it now. Start practicing it because this could be helpful inside of a house too when you're out in the field. Then the mind map method. My mind kind of works like this. Anybody who's worked with me for more than 5 minutes understands that my mind goes in a million different directions at any point in time. So we put the main subject and we just have a bunch of tree branches. That's it. You put what needs to go where on the tree branches as it pops into your head. And then you can use a bullet and anything else underneath that to make sure that it's there. But a lot of the times you're usually just circling and pointing along the way, just like with the flow method. I like this note. I like this note. This is important because of this happened. And you start pointing, you just draw lines. I actually think I have show you guys. I use a little bit of all these note-taking styles depending on what I'm doing. I don't have it on me. But this is one most commonly used when I'm on the phone. And I just draw all over the piece of paper and I start circling stuff and I just draw an arrow back to where the original note was. This is kind of the daydreamer type of method. And because my mind goes in 9 different directions, this helps a lot here too. Then the lazy method that we talked about. Literally, you just write anywhere you have room. Okay. So if this is your style, this is the type of person that when you have the customer's utility bill, if you have a printed out copy of a proposal, you usually end up drawing on the actual proposal or on the customer's utility bill to kind of help make it make sense for yourself and for your customer. Now, another thing to understand is when you're taking notes, especially when you're trying to write stuff out for a customer, if you understand what you're doing, it can help them a little bit. So you can kind of recognize what's responding to them or what they're responding to. And you can kind of tailor what you're writing down on a piece of paper to get them to understand a little bit better, which will help them, ultimately make a better decision on whether they're going to get solar from you or not. So why? 3 reasons. Works for courses like these. Number 1, you learn more about yourself and you get the most of what you need out of this. And then you take better notes as a salesperson. If you learn these note-taking methods and you do it well, you can do better. You can do better notes during your conversations. You can find the needs, you can write them down, and you can use them for your follow-up calls in the back. This is also very important and you're going to hear your manager say this a lot, hey, put your notes inside of the CRM. We do it for a couple reasons. Number 1, if we have to hop in there and help out the customer, we have no idea what's going on if you don't have any notes in there, so it's a requirement. Number 1. Number 2, you will forget. You're going to talk to so many people. You're going to have so many customers. Yes, you're going to have those few that stick out and you just remember everything about them. But if you're doing your job the way you should have so many customers, you forget about 90% of your conversations. And I think we all want to be that salesperson that has 100 different customers and we can't remember what it is without looking at the notes. Sure, we would all love to know and remember every single person that we talk to, but when you start becoming very successful, that has a tendency to fall to the wayside. So take notes, put them in the CRMs. This is our first stopping point. I will allow questions here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask any questions about that. I think we're good to go. Great.
One thing it might be good to on with that is like notes make it easier for other people to go back into a deal too. Or if somebody threatens to cancel, you can remind them of the reason they went to do it in the first place. Just
Exactly.
helpful background info.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So, first important thing we're going to be looking at is a critical path. So the other one, yes, that was important, but it's not one of the most crucial. Critical path is how businesses, management teams, sales teams, these are how companies and successful teams grow to scale. And they're not doing it on accident, they're doing it on purpose. So throughout the rest of my training courses, you guys will hear me say a lot of selling on purpose, setting on purpose, doing things on purpose. We have a tendency as salespeople to be really good at what we do, but not know how we do it. So one of our goals in our trainings is to teach you guys why you did what you did and how you got to that result, so that you can do it on purpose every single time and not walk into sales. So what is critical path? Critical path, or paths, is the longest path in time from start to finish. It indicates the minimum time necessary to complete the entire project. It's important because it helps you determine, critical path is used to determine your goals and plot the best course of actions to achieve your goals. Okay. And it helps you set those goals, right? So what is a goal? A goal, a couple things about it. Goals, it's a dream with a date on it. We hear this more and more and more than we used to. This is something that was kind of a new concept about, I don't know, even a decade ago. And it's because social media wasn't as big as it is now. But you hear it every time you open up Instagram or you open up LinkedIn. Hey, it's a dream with a date on it. Yeah, what does that mean, right? They should be consistent and they should be achievable. Go off of something that you know you can hit and that you can achieve and you can achieve, and then push yourself a little bit further, right? Shoot for the stars, you're going to hit the moon, right? And goals should be set in sections, and they should be celebrated along the way. So even if you feel you're it's like, this isn't unreasonable. I want to pay a quarterback cash at the end of the year and buy my house and build my house cash. You can do that, absolutely. If you've never done it before, it's going to seem like it's a little bit out of reach, right? So we're going to have to break these down. So my long-term goal is that maybe print out the car that you want and put it in front of your face. So every morning you wake up, why am I doing this job again? I'm tired, it's hot. Oh yeah, that's exactly why. All right, I'm going to go and do it. Number one, right? Number two, your midterm goal, where you're going to be along that way. How are you going to determine how far you are in that process in your short-term goal? So you can have it in a year, and then you have your 6 month, and you have short-term goal, and you can have a couple short-term goals along the way, weekly, monthly, quarterly, so that you can add up to that process. Don't keep your goals to yourself. Share them with your leaders. Keeping accountable is another important part of having your goals, and having somebody keep you accountable is sometimes important for some of us. Not all of us have the self-motivation to get up there and do it every single day. But if you share your goal and you share your time frame with your manager, they can help you not only just set up an achievable goal and the stopping points and what you need to do in a course of action to get there, that critical path, the course of action to get to that point, so you know what you need to do every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter to get to your goal. But when you're underproducing or you're not motivated, they will help motivate you to do that and celebrate them along the way. It's one of the reasons why we have the short-term goals and the midterm goals, right? So let's say your goal is $300,000 this year, and your first month you hit $10,000. Well, when was the last time you hit $10,000 in income in 1 month? Some people, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's kind of average for me. Great. You're still $10,000 closer. Now you can reassess and figure out where you need to get to that point, right? Now, midterm, you have $150,000, and that's exactly where you should be on target. If you didn't have a midterm goal of $150,000 to get to that 300,000, you're going to feel like you fell short. That's why celebrating along the way, giving yourself those little successes and achievable goals. I need to knock 80 doors a day. I need to sell this many systems a month. I need to sell this many systems a week. You can celebrate along the way, which will help you recognize those midterm goals and those long-term goals along the way as well. So this is what we look at when we're setting these goals. Okay, so we're gonna show it as a company. So zero number is a specific number, or amount that an individual, team, or company has determined is the lowest they will allow their production to fall. This is important. Okay, so company A. So this is any sales team that's out there right now. They look at their average sales, like right now, okay, cool. We sell on average 10 sales a month. So, hey, this month we sold 10 sales, which means that we sold 10 sales. Team B, this is the team that scales like crazy. Their average monthly sales is 10 a month. So they set their zero number to 10 sales a month. If they sell 10 sales this month, they don't have any sales. It's a weird concept for some people to understand. Here's why they do that. Team A is like most small businesses. They do count every single sale without setting a standard. It leaves the company without a baseline. So there's no minimum performance or standard of growth. Team B has a zero number of 10 sales. This means that the manager understands that the team needs to sell 10 sales a month to pay the overhead for their team. So at the beginning of every single month, that team starts at negative 10 sales for the month. Until they get to 10 sales, that manager can't cover the overhead for their team just as a standard. This helps the manager determine realistic goals and projections for the coming months and needs to determine their growth. The zero number grows as production grows. Team growth is based on that zero number. So zero number goal is 10 sales to 15 sales. You want to get to 15 sales. Once it's reached, the manager can now once again assess the zero number, and the team stops spending revenue until their goal of sales is made. So this is important. So when your manager is determining, like, hey, if you like the incentives and stuff that we offer in the beginning, wait until this team starts to grow. Because here's what happens: that manager already has that budget set for 10 sales. Right? Once they hit 10 sales, they know that they've covered their budget for their incentives and all that other stuff. If they hit that mid-month, everything above that is extra money for the team and for the company that we want to spend on you, because we want to start getting to 20 sales a month and 40 sales a month and 50 sales a month. Once that manager starts hitting a 15 sale average, they can increase their monthly expenses to 15 salespeople or to 15 sales to make sure they maintain that 15 sales a month with more people, ultimately adding more sales. What does that mean for you? More bonuses, more incentives, and a lot more fun. Okay? This is why we build this. You're going to want to do this for yourself as well. And I'm going to show you how that you do that as an individual too. So here's an example about how that works. So Team B sold 5 sales this month. Their zero number is 10 sales, which means that you take that monthly sales minus the zero number, they were negative 5 sales. In this situation, they would raise the team's zero number the next month to make up for the lack of production the week prior. Now, if you can do that because you have a surplus and your team is growing, that's great. But you don't want to start next month at 15 or at negative 5 sales, right? Well, negative 15 sales in order to be able to catch up to make up for the month prior. But it's important to do that so you understand, like, hey, we've already spent a lot of that budget for last month. We didn't get to do a lot of the bonuses we did this month. Team B sold 15 sales this month. Their zero number is 10, and you minus those 2, and they're positive 5 sales. Here's what's great about this. A couple things can happen. That manager can either say, look, we're positive 5 sales this month. So he has a budget to recruit some more people. He has a budget to add some more expenses to the team to get you guys more bonuses and a lot more fun stuff along the way. Or can cut you guys a little bit of slack that month, right? So there's a lot of cool things that happen when you oversell that zero number. The manager starts determining that as the team grows, and they have a tendency to start sharing that with you. And it's important, if you're a manager and you're not sharing that, share your zero number with the team, right? If it's 5, it's 5. If it's 1, it's 1. We need 1 sale a month to make sure that we hit what ours is right now. We want to get to 5, okay? So until you get 1 sale, you're at negative 1. Right? So when you say you have 0 sales, you know the team has at least 1 sale on the belt that covered all the expenses, and then you have 2, right? So now you're positive 1, then positive 2, then positive 3, and positive 4, and positive 5. And it helps you as a manager be a little bit more positive about your team when they're actually producing, because now you're not looking at these gigantic numbers and these gigantic goals. You're setting realistic expectations based off what they can do and what they currently are doing at the moment and where you're at mid-month. So critical path is important for management and for teams. It's also important for individuals. Red zone, green zone is a nice little thing we came up with back in the day, because as a direct salesperson, you are on commission. And as commission salespeople, we're all guilty of it. We have a tendency to sometimes make a lot of excuses. This is what I mean by excuses. Hi, man, I worked 40 plus hours this week. Great. You were in the red zone. You're going to hear your manager asking you about red zone, yellow zone, and green zone activities that you did that worked up to your 40 hours that you worked this week. If you're not generating revenue, if you're not making a ton of commissions, there's a reason why that's not happening. And a lot of times it's because you're not working an activity that's going to actually produce revenue. So driving to the field, yeah, you might be clocked in for that, and you might count that as being clocked in, but can you make money? The answer is simply no. There's nothing that you could be doing making money that's going to help you make the driving that's going to help you make money. Training, it's important. You need to be certified to be able to get out on the doors. You need to be certified to be able to get out in the field. You need to be certified to be able to sell solar to a customer. It's important that you get your training done. You can't do the job without the proper training. However, it's not making you money, so you have to do it. Following up with existing sales. It's great to keep that customer service going. It's great to stay in front of the customer and let them know that you're there for them and that you care and that, you know, they weren't just left in the dust, especially nowadays with the way that the solar industry has been leaning. But that doesn't make you money. Recruiting is important for building teams and growing. It's important for making sure that, you know, you guys have fresh faces in the group so that you guys have fun and new competition to go out there and compete against. And you're not competing with, you know, the same people you've been competing with for the past 6 months. It's also going to bring in people who are going to motivate you a little bit more. It's important, but is it currently creating money? Is it generating revenue? And then sitting in the field. I'm taking a break. I'm going to go have lunch. I'm going to go sit in the car and drink some water. I'm going to, you know, look up my calendar. I'm going to work on my calendar. I'm going to do these things. I do a lot of red zone activities, guys. I am, you know, last night I was sending out emails until 1 o'clock in the morning and getting a lot of stuff together. It's important that we have it. It's important we have these decks put together for training. It's important that we have the document center. It's important that we have, you know, all these great fun things and the schedule's already lined out. But is it making me money right now? No, but it's work, right? And it's something that needs to be done. So I understand it needs to be done. So I do it. But I also understand that that's not considered green zone training or green zone work. Yellow is a little bit different, okay? Yellow has a potential to generate income. It's potential of a generating income activity. So referral fishing for existing sales. So if you're following up with the customer, you can turn that into a yellow zone activity where you have a potential to if you're trying to get active referrals out of that. Now, the key word in there is trying. If you're trying, you're lying. You're going to hear me say that a lot over the course of the next couple of days. If you're trying, you're lying. But it still is an important factor whenever you have to make a phone call to the customer and follow up to keep that customer service going. Finish out with asking for referrals. It's just like it sounds. You're fishing for them, which means you're trying for them. You're not always going to get a bite. So that could quickly turn into a red zone activity. But then again, you could turn that red zone activity into a yellow zone activity as long as you make an active effort when you do your follow-ups to try to get some referrals out of it. Visiting sales on install days. Again, not a revenue generating activity. You've already sold them. You're already making money off that customer. It's important to visit them on install days so you can introduce them to the install crew and continue to be that point of contact. This is important because you want to make sure that the customer recognizes your face, recognizes you as the solution to the solar problem and to the electric problem that's out there, so they continue to refer you out there. Just like the one above it, what should you be doing? If you said trying to get some referrals, you're absolutely right. And then sales funnels. Not all salespeople do this. It's absolutely fine. You can do it. You can if you want to, but if you're working on your sales funnels, you're actively getting that stuff out there, has the potential to make sure that you're making some money. But then again, you're still on a setup mode. You're not actually pushing it out there to be able to reach out to customers yet. And then green zone. This is the one that you want to do. There's only really two that you can be doing. You can either be sitting in front of a customer delivering a proposal, or you can be out and knocking doors, or you can be calling an actual referral list or the sales funnels that come in, or calling the referrals that were given to you. Unless you're actually actively speaking to somebody who can purchase something from you, you're not working a green zone activity. So let's break this down a little bit. If I work 40 hours a week, like this week, we're going to put in about 12 hours worth of training. That's all we're going to do. And this is going to get you to where you can pass your certification so that you can be a solar panel pro. But 12 hours out of 40. So the rest of the time you can go out there and you can start hitting some doors. You can start setting some appointments. You can start getting on some phones. there's going to be some green zone activities in there. But you have 12 hours of red zone activities. Now you get out there, you're knocking some doors, you're setting some appointments. Let's say you do about 10 hours of green zone activity. You get a system sold and you make about 3,000 or 4,000, let's say $3,000. You just averaged about $300 an hour on green zone activities. That's how you break down what you would be on an hourly, even though you put all the other stuff in the background, right? And then you can break it down for red zone. But in all reality, the most effort you put in sitting down with somebody was only about 10 hours to be able to generate revenue. This other stuff is important to do, but then again, keep in mind, it's not making you money. When you start getting out to the field, this is how you're going to determine your success. This is how you're going to determine your goals. Am I going to have to do more red zone this week? Am I going to have to do more green zone or more yellow zone? If you're a manager and you're recruiting, you're going to be doing a lot of red zone activities, which means that you need to start working to get more people underneath you so that you're creating more green zone activities. Your hours will start to reflect a lot of green zone if you have a lot of these already out in the field, because now you already have people out there delivering proposals and setting appointments, which means that you're still making money because the team is making money, and you're recruiting. Your red zone activity, all your red zone activities just became green zone activities. So when you become a manager, there's a way to make sure that you can get all this done. This is what we train you guys to do over at Solar Panel Pros. You advance your career into the management aspect. So a couple things you have to know with critical path and your red zone, green zone activities, okay? You have to know your metrics and your APIs, number of doors knocked, number of doors answered, number of appointments set, number of appointments ran, and the amount that you sold. These are your KPIs, your key performance indicator. Knowing these numbers will help you be more effective during your day. Minimum number of doors knocked is 100 a day. And then through critical path planning, you can plan your days, your weeks, your months based off of your schedule and what you're working. So this is a number that's based off how many answers you get. Typically, it's about one hour for every 30 doors, 20 doors, depending on how quickly you walk, okay? Right now, we're showing metrics at about you knock 30 doors an hour. So about 2 minutes a door, okay? So if we put it in there, actually, yeah, sorry, it was 25 was the new number that I just looked up. That's why I fixed that, but I didn't fix that. So if you're doing 100 doors a day, you're knocking 25 doors in 25 doors an hour, you're working 4 hours a day, okay? At an 8-hour workday, you spent 4 hours knocking doors, which means you have an hour drive time to and from the fields, what you put in. You have 3 hours to be selling, which is about an hour per appointment. So you have at least 7 hours of green zone activity that you could be doing on an average day, every single day, outside of your training or your driving or whatever you have to do, okay? If you hit these numbers, a new person will accidentally walk in at about 2 or 3 sales a week. They'll walk into them. Oh, I was just talking to my wife. I was just talking to my husband. I was just talking to my partner. Oh, my neighbor just got sold and I was wondering, what it was like, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. You will walk into those if you're hitting your metrics. Sales is a numbers game. So if you know your metrics and you're hitting your minimums, you will walk into stuff like that. So the metrics are pretty simple. 1 out of 3 doors that you knock, they will answer. 1 out of 10 doors, the answer when you're brand new, those will set as appointments. 1 out of 2 set will run, and 1 out of 5 run will sold, which means your average commission could be right around $3,000 a week just by hitting your metrics every single week. So if we're looking at 500 doors knocked in a week, which is 100 doors a day for 5 days a week, you're working a total of 48 hours, a 48-hour work week, right? 1 out of 3 set, which means 150 doors answered, 115 or 15 appointments set, 7.5 of those ran. You sold 1.5 systems. That was 25 hours working in the field, 10 hours inside of homes, which is only 35 hours of actual work. So it looks like 48 hours on paper, but you actually only worked 35 hours plus the extra hour in the field or driving. Gives you $3,000 commission a week, which is just brand new, $144,000 a year annual potential. As you start to progress and you start doing this stuff on purpose and not on accident, you can start knocking less doors because you're in more homes. The number of doors to knock to answers, those don't really change very much. The reason why is because you can't control who's home and who's not. But the number of doors set, that will change. So the average set for an experienced salesperson is right around 1 out of 6 doors answered. We'll set an appointment on this program that we're going to teach you over the next couple of days. Half of those will still run, and you're looking at 1 out of 3 will still sell. Still looking at about an average $3,000 commission. 120 doors answered, 19.2 appointments set, 9.6 run. You're selling 3 of those. It's 20 hours in the field, 9.6 hours in homes. You're only working an actual 29.6 hours, which is less, 5.5 hours less than what you were working as a new person, but you're making more money. It's almost a $200,000 raise, $230,000 raise annually, just by getting more experience and doing the stuff on purpose and following the program. It's $6,200 a week in commissions. Any managers who have done this for a little while will be able to tell you, yes, it's possible. I have done it myself. As a senior manager, you're still looking at right about the same metrics, but you increase as a senior manager, okay? When you increase as a senior manager, what's happening is you are getting an override on your teams, but you're also getting increased price per kilowatt that you're selling. Now, I'll go over what that is here in a little bit. But if you're still selling 3, instead of the same metrics, the same number of doors knocked, same number of doors answered, an appointment set, you're making $9,600, which is $500,000 a year in annual potential by working the same hours and hitting your numbers every single week as a senior manager. This is breaking point 2 in our little section. If you guys want to go ahead and pop on, ask any questions, I'm happy to answer any of those. And we'll probably just take a little quick 5-minute break early, and then we'll come back and finish everything up with the last 2 sections.
I'm good. No questions
All right.
so far.
Yeah, I'm good. People still listening, so yeah, no questions here.
All righty then. All right, our next section that we're going to be talking about is advertising. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. I'm going to keep my screen up, and let's do 5 minutes. Well, let's come back at 3:50, so it's about 6 minutes. I'll see you guys shortly. All right, let's get a thumbs up from everybody who's ready. Thumbs up from Vinny and Gabe and Brian. All right. Cool, guys. We're gonna get back into this thing real quick. Advertising is one of my favorite sections to talk about. One of the reasons why it's one of my favorite sections to talk about is because this is what you have to do as a company, as a salesperson, as absolutely anything. You have to advertise. There's a lot of different methods out there to advertising, and you have to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So advertising has three primary objectives: to inform, to persuade, and to remind. Informative advertising creates awareness of the brand's products, services, and idea. It announces new products and programs that can educate people about the attributes and benefits of new or established products. So these are the standard forms of advertising. We've all been associated with all these things: word of mouth advertising, internet, billboards, newspapers, magazine, television, radio, and print. The ones at the very top that are smaller, those ones are less commonly used nowadays since internet. The one that's still the biggest and most effective form of advertising is word of mouth. Even today, word of mouth is the most effective form of advertising. If you don't believe me, go ask how many people walk away from a restaurant because of the reviews, or how many people don't go to a solar company because of the reviews. Again, this is another thing that we're looking to solve here at Solar Panel Pro, is fixing reputations for some of these organizations out there that should have good reviews, but it's these little ABC companies that are messing those things up. And but they're still representing a bigger brand, right? So doing things the right way, right? What you do matters, and that's why word of mouth is so important. This is why we're going to focus mainly on that one, but let's talk about a couple of these. So fun fact: during the Super Bowl in 2020, Anheuser-Busch earned the top ad spender, having invested $42 million in promoting products. In comparison, the runner-up, Procter & Gamble, spent $11 million less than that on the commercials that aired during the telecast. At $6 million, NBC would be seeking a 9.1% increase over the $5.5 million CBS sought for 30 seconds of advertising. That means $6 million for 30 seconds of airtime for an ad. Why would any company be willing to do this? Because everybody's going to see it. The most televised event in the country is the Super Bowl. But we always see the same couple of companies. About 10 years ago, it was always Doritos, Budweiser, Coke, and Pepsi. That was it. But now you're starting to get a little bit more companies out there, because they're starting to recognize that a Super Bowl ad, they are going to make most of their revenue back that day, because everybody's used to seeing them. You got Disney, you got Chrysler, you got Fiat, you got Anheuser-Busch, you got Coke, you got Comcast. These companies are out here spending all this money, $55 million, now going to be $6 million for 30 seconds just to get that out in front of them. Just to get that in front of people. Now, the difference between this type of advertising and what we do, we spend $0 going door to door. It's word of mouth. That's why it's so important to understand why we're doing this. Word of mouth is crucial. You have absolutely zero overhead costs. Well, gas to get to an area, but if you live in a neighborhood, you have doors around you, it's just going to cost you a little bit of sweat equity to get out there, knock some doors, and make some money. So very little actual investment that you need to put out personally in order to be able to make it all the money that we were talking about before, $474,000 a year for just hitting 100 doors a day. That's an crazy amount of money, right? You do that for a couple of years, you'll be able to run your own Super Bowl ad. So no matter how complex the sales funnel, so sales funnels are really cool. So this is another thing that we look at. And actually, there's a reason why we talk about this. You guys are independent contractors. You guys can hire your own assistants out of your own pocket. That's completely up to you. You can run your own sales funnels as long as it has approved company messaging and went through legal first. So if you guys are trying to run a sales funnel, very, very important, send it to your manager. Your manager will get it up to the top chain. We'll get it approved, and you can go ahead and run that ad. Okay, so we're actually going to talk a little bit about how those are built together. There's going to be another reason why we talk about it here in a second as well. Okay, so sales funnels are really, 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 really cool because you can get on the internet, you can focus on that word of mouth at no cost. And if you want to start working a little bit smarter and having your money work for you, you can build a sales funnel, purchase a sales funnel, or start using some of the company leads that we're going to be providing. Those are awarded to people who are working and selling. So just so you know, if you want leads, earn them. They are a reward. They are not They're not a standard. Anybody can have them. So no matter how simple or complex, the fun fact is, or the fact that sales funnels work is they're built according to a certain universal principles. Case in point, 80% of consumers choose to do business with vendors who provide valuable content at all stages of the buying process. So this can help you during the process, is why we run funnels, sales funnels, so people can recognize the name, recognize the brand, so it's easier for you to sell. So this is something that we do as well. 63% of consumers need to hear the company's value proposition 3 to 5 times before they trust the claims. Now, this can help because what we do is pretty universal. A lot of people are going to go out there and they're going to hear solar a lot. So it kind of sets us in one of those a little bit better of a situation when it comes to them trusting the claims. We just have to make sure we put ourselves at a better standard than everybody else, which we already are, because you're going to be certified before you ever touch a door. Nurtured leads make 47% larger purchases than non-nurtured leads. It's because it's an investment. Over here with solar, it's no different. It's an investment. So if you're looking at an investment type, they're going to need some time to think about it. And a lot of times they've already done a lot of that research. They just need somebody to reaffirm it by delivering them the right information. So in addition to the top, middle, and bottom, these sales funnels have traditionally been structured around 4 sales funnel stages known by the acronym AIDA. So awareness, sometimes referred to as attention. It's the first stage of the sales funnel. It's the thing that gets them drawn in. If you spent any time on social media, you've seen ads. So the ones that you actually watch, you're interested. Somebody who just has a picture up there nowadays, and it's not even funny, it's just a picture of a solar panel. Those get passed off more than others. But then there's interest. So here, the brand will begin to forge a deeper relationship with the prospect, becoming more actively involved in learning about their goals. So this is usually in the sales funnel process. This is that form, just like it is when you fill out a job applications. Well, we need to know about you. We need to know about us, right? So you see an ad, and then you go fill out the application, and it comes in. There's the desires. Consumers want to reach this third sales funnel stage and become convinced to do so. In fact, they have a larger problem that needs solving. Moreover, they're coming around to the idea of making a purchase to solve the problem. At this point, the brand showcases how their premium offering can solve the service. So this is usually when there needs to be some type of follow-up, usually a phone call, having a conversation with them. This is when a lead would come in and you make that contact. So when they press that submit button, they've expressed desire. Now you have to reach out and you need to nurture that. You need to get on the phone. You need to set an appointment so you can go down and sit down with them, offer them the value proposition, no cost, no obligation consultation. We will go over, teach you how to read this proposal so you can make an educated decision and make up your own mind, not have somebody force solar down your throat. And then action. The final stage of the sales funnel has prospects deciding to purchase or not purchase the premium brand's product or service. You'll need to reinforce value of your offer, as the downside is making the purchase. Sales funnel stage describes a general process all of us are going through, as well as the general action steps needed to take their prospects moving further into the funnel. Okay, so all this means is this is basically like your sales process. This is when you're going to be sitting down delivering the proposal to the customer. So if we take a look at it here, depending on what you're selling and who your target audience is, you'll want to tailor each of your stages of the funnel accordingly. So we've already done that on our end. We can teach you how to do that when you move further through the process. But you have that bait, you have the front end. So it's that bait. It's that, hey, here's a fun, cool little video. Here's a funny meme. Click on this. Now you have your front end. Here's the actual value. Here's what we're trying to do. Submit your information. The middle offer. This is where we are going out and adding a little bit of value here by offering no cost consultation. And then that back end is sitting down with the customer to be able to deliver the sale. So this is that process that we follow when doing the sales funnel. So you know what we're doing as well, which makes it a little bit easier for you when you're out there on the doors. Customers have seen the brand, they've seen the name. So typically the way it works, you spend money, it leads to traffic. You have the top of the funnel, which is general campaigns, soft touch. Middle of the funnel, personalized campaigns, warm touch. This is the bottom of the funnel. This is a hot lead. This is somebody who submitted information. They requested information, not just saying, hey, I want to look at your blog. Send me notices every single time you guys write a blog. Once you get to the bottom of that funnel, it's when you start making money. Okay. So this is that takes money to make money mentality. The nice part about direct sales and being able to go out there and canvas the neighborhood and do it on purpose and the way that we're going to teach you how to do it, how much is it going to cost you? Big fat goose egg right there. Doesn't cost you anything to get out and touch the doors. My favorite excuse, oh, I can't get out to the neighborhood. Great. Do you have a next door neighbor? Go knock their door. You're never going to run out of doors. That's the beauty about it. There's new neighborhoods being built. I'm here in Vail, Arizona. Vail, Arizona is a lot of fun because we have grown way outside of capacity. It now takes 45 minutes to get 2 miles to the freeway between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. And the reason why is because we way too many people out here for a one stoplight little town. But that's good news for somebody like me in this industry, which means that there's more doors than there are people to knock them, which means that there's plenty of more opportunities out here to do it, right? So that's why we love doing that. So if we take a look at just breaking down that 6 steps to the funnel again, and what you need to do. Number one, you need to know your offer. You need to traffic it. You need to have your advertisement, your promo, your contact, and then your actual negotiation and close. That end offer is the important part, and that's where you guys have to be certified to go in. This front end stuff, yes, you can do it as a consultant, and once you're certified and you get the ads put through, and hey, I want to run my own sales funnel, absolutely, more than welcome to do so. However, you need to be certified in order to do it, and that's where this end offer comes in. You need to be able to go into the home and actually close that to make money. So the front end offer. So this is it's the surface offer. It's the general needs, low risk. It's a low price, and it's a low risk offer that provides value to the customer, allowing them to solve surface level issues with minimal interest. If anybody's hopped on social media recently, you've probably seen a lot of the solar stuff out there. You may have seen some of the solar stuff out there where it's just a solitary person standing in front of a solar meter that says, hey, are you a homeowner in blank state? You could go off grid. You could save money. You could do this. It's a low risk. Everybody wants to save money on their utility bill. This is how they bait them to click on the next step. Then you write the ad copy. So this is when they click in, they have something they can read about what you're doing. So you want to include a subheader. You want some information in there. Write at a 6th grade reading level. It's about 200 to 300 words is what you're going to want your ad copy to be at. Never any longer than that. And you want to break it up in a lot of different paragraphs. A lot of different paragraphs so that you can keep them engaged and then they don't look like they're reading one giant long sentence. Okay. So make sure it's relatable. You tailor the message to your audience. It's going to be homeowners. Shorten the sentences and paragraphs. Keep them more in-depth information. And like I said, right at 6th grade level, use bullet points and lists, and then that subheader 200 to 300 words. So speak directly to your audience and don't overcomplicate your message. My general rule of thumb is that if you can explain it to a 5-year-old, you can sell it to a homeowner. Okay, don't do it patronizing. Be nice about it, but the same way you would explain it to a child is the same way you should explain it to everybody. Our job is to understand the high-level aspect of solar and how it works so we can properly sell them, consult them on the process, and make sure that they're making a good decision. We have a fiduciary responsibility. These are people's investments that we're working with, okay? Because of that, we need to be able to so-called dumb it down is what it's called, right? So we need to be able to dumb it down and deliver it so where it's understandable. If we give this high level to every single person, what's happening? They go crazy. They're not going to understand. You're going to try to deliver years of experience and years of knowledge that you were given over hours and hours and hours of training, and then even more hours of continued education and time with your managers to somebody in about 30 minutes of a proposal. They have no idea what's going on, or you're going to end up in that house for about 4 to 6 hours, and they're not going to like you anyways. So make sure you're not overcomplicating your message, and we'll teach you guys how to do that through the rest of this. So in the ad copy, social proof can and should be used to reinforce. So this is where we're talking about earlier, word of mouth, right? So it's not just going out and knocking on doors. It's what your neighbors are saying about you. It's what everybody in the neighborhood's saying about you. It's the reviews. It's all that stuff that really makes it important for people to understand what it is exactly that they're who it is exactly they're talking to, and can they trust you based off of what other people have said. Okay. So generalized social proof regarding your brand may work to engage new prospects. However, you need to use more specific anecdotes from successful customers looking to make bigger sales down your sales funnel. So this is where you have testimonials. It's not a bad thing to have somebody write something specific about you, have them write on a piece of paper. Those are some of my favorite testimonials back when I first started in the industry. I had customers, they would write it down after somebody first offered to write something down for me. Absolutely. And I carried it around and I had a little proof book that I would be able to pop out, and that ages me because I had a proof book and not a tablet. And I would be able to flip through my proof book and show them what these people would say about me. It helps a lot when you're talking to new customers who just met you and they're really wanting to find out more about who you are. So here's some fun ideas for teams, and these are some ideas that you guys are going to see out in the field. So a couple of ideas for some of that social proof as well when it comes to the teams. And just building camaraderie and having fun with your customers and getting them involved in the process is burn the bill competition. So this is something that we did back at Olympus Solar. This is something that I did back in my Kirby days. It was called Smash the Vac. We absolutely loved it. So you collect people burning their bills and destroying them in a funny way, right? Any rep that does it, you do it for a couple days. Any rep that gets a video of it, everybody judges it. How good was it? Well, did you get a fireball out of it? Did the customer do something creative? All they're doing is burning one of their bills. When they do that, it's a soft commitment for you that they're going solar, number one, but number two, it gets them excited. It makes it more fun. It makes it more fun for you too, because you get to have some more fun with your customer. So burning the bill is a fantastic way it's a fantastic promo out there for teams, and it's a fantastic thing for the customers. It's, you don't have to offer the customer anything. They get excited. They like, yeah, I'm going to burn my bill. Some people crumple it up and they throw it. Some people, crumple it up, throw it with a baseball bat. And I had one guy lit the baseball bat on fire, had to hit it a couple times before he'd actually be able to, we had to soak the bill in lighter fluid. And when it got thrown, it finally caught and was a fireball launched. Some guy put way too much lighter fluid inside of a barbecue, so that one was fun. But there's some fun ways. We did have dynamite once. That was a fun fun bill. Pay it forward review. So just being proactive and paying it forward on the streets and the homes. More reps will helps customers bring in groceries. You help someone carry your garbage to the curb. Smiling, waving to passing vehicles along the way. Little activities in the neighborhood where people see you're involved with them. So it's that hey, you see somebody that they dropped a crutch. Are you gonna watch them and laugh at them while they pick it up, or are you just gonna walk over, pick it up, walk away, and not accept any type of accolades for doing a small act of human kindness? So do that stuff when you're in the neighborhoods. Encourage your teams to do that. Do it yourself. If you see somebody need help, I've offered to pull weeds with people before. But that was not a good time. And you're pulling weeds. Let me pull some weeds with you. Got a lot of referrals out of stuff like that. I had one neighbor, older man, couldn't get out of his house to clean his yard. The HOA was always yelling at him, and he brought it up during our conversation. I cleaned his yard for him. I didn't want anything out of it. Didn't even get the appointment. I didn't even do anything. I didn't even get an appointment out of the guy. I was fine with that. But he needed help, right? I did end up getting something out of it because the other neighbors saw me do it, and a couple of them came over and helped me finish it up, and ended up selling every neighbor that came over, and had a great reputation in that neighborhood. So put them up, right? And then ask people when they see it to put it up as a review. Yeah, I saw, hey, I saw that guy do. Hey, would you mind putting them on the website for us? Would you mind putting that over there? It helps. Managers receive a call. When you receive a call about a rep doing something awesome like that, say it in the meetings. Blast them. It's great. It's a good way to be called out. If you see somebody doing it, take a picture or video. My kid's school does this. It's called Caught in the Act, and it still gets me because I come from a different time when Caught in the Act apparently meant something completely different, and yeah, every time my son comes home from school, Dad, I got a caught in the act today. I'm like, dude, what'd you do? It's a good thing. And I still haven't learned that yet. So here's another one. So is it hot in here? This works with the pay it forward. It's fun. It's fun random days of spicing up and enhancing uniform in appropriate ways. You can do fun stuff. Halloween is a great example for it. You can allow, we don't want to be out in the field on Halloween anyways, unless you're just going into a house, just for safety for everybody involved. But there's some fun stuff you can do with it. You can, gloves, and you just have fun costume contests. It's a lot of fun. Just do it throughout the year. Fun, wacky hair day. You guys, just like back in the day when we did it with school. It was some things that made us excited, right? We have Sell a Solar Month. Those are big months. 1 month or a Sell a Solar Week. It's a big week. We do a big push, and those are usually fun days to do stuff like that. It's just like Spirit Week at school back in the day. Wacky hair days, mismatched socks, pajama days, stuff like that. All appropriate. If you sleep in the nude, you do not get to come to work like that. Now, why do we do some of this stuff? Does it work? Absolutely, it works. Simple ideas like this are a couple of things that help an organization, and it helps your sales funnel, because if you're getting reviews about people seeing that stuff, absolutely, it's great. Cultivates a fun and inviting environment. It's photo, video, and reviews, creating overwhelming social proof. It's friendly internal competition. Makes the workplace a more desired workplace to be. It helps build camaraderie and inter-office friendships, and it reduces stress in the workplace. So we went over this for a couple reasons. Number one, it's important for you guys to know kind of the ins and outs of how this stuff works and how funnels work, and how leads are coming in, so that you can see how that works. The other important thing is why did we build Solar Panel Pro? Why did this happen? I'll go more in detail with that in a second. But I'll show you a couple of examples. These are two legitimate leads out there. Get free solar. Solar's not free. This stuff is still out here. You can qualify for free home solar panels. Take a 30-second solar survey to see if you can get it. Brian and I, we're still looking for it because we found it, and I got to go back and try to get a screenshot of it next time I find it. There's a company out there claiming you can get up to 60%, and sometimes they run an ad 80% solar tax credit rather than just the standard 26 that's out there. Why they do this, we don't understand. We know how they're able to do that, and it's not exactly ethical, number one, and it's not actually solar tax credit. But they're offering they're walking a really fine line with it, and it creates a really bad name for the industry. There's no such thing as free solar panels. Those are lease systems 9 out of 10 times. Or they're going to say, hey, you don't qualify for free, but you do qualify for zero down. It's misleading advertising, and we don't approve of it. We don't agree with it. And this is stuff that we walk away from. But this is one of the reasons why we started Solar Panel Pro. Before I hop into SPP, why we found it, all this other stuff, and the stuff you want to know, everybody's fun questions, pay, who do I talk to, all that good stuff. Do we have any questions about anything we talked about yet? No, it doesn't look like it. Gabriel? No? All right. Cool. So, step number one, we got our territories. Right now, we are launched in 16 states alongside with Titan as our installer. Every location that they have, we will have access to. We will be building out, and we will be expanding out to the additional territories as well. As they grow, we will have unlimited territory along with them. And one of the reasons why is this virtual process that we do. We do take a very strong interest in everybody that we work with, and make sure you guys have all the proper tools that you need in order to be successful, and you are trained to a standard so that you can be successful as well. So even if you are not in the same city, not in the same state as all the other major developed teams, we are still here for you in the same capacity, and everybody's going to be learning the exact same way. From management, from the founders. One of the other founders, San Francisco, California, Vail, Arizona, which is Tucson, Arizona, which is right next to the border. We are 14, 15, 16 hours apart, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but like 16 hours apart. And we're able to found the company, build all this stuff out. We can train you guys the exact same way. It is a proven program. It's not a brand new process. This is actually something that was developed for an old organization that ended up selling back in 2021. And it worked so well that we were able to sell the organization because they wanted this process. The thing that they didn't have was how to make it work. So they were able to buy the slides and buy all this other stuff, but they didn't know how to implement the process. It's very important that people understand just because you have access to something doesn't mean you're going to make it work. And I think we have a lot of social proof with a lot of these solar companies out there. They have access to the same solar panels, they have access to the same equipment, but they have no ability to grow their companies. And that has to go by the individual. It doesn't go by the content itself. So what is a Solar Panel Pro certification? So this is what's important. Other companies, they say, hey, do you want to make money? And then their training is go knock on doors. They find out information about solar along the way. They do a lot of research on their own. Some companies offer packets. Some companies offer a couple days in office, but there's no standard of training. It's really just more how to sell and not what solar is. A lot of people don't understand an azimuth or a lot of other things and definitions that you're going to be learning tomorrow during the first day of actual certification process. With us, we work a little bit differently. We want to know if you want to sell solar specifically, not if you want to make money. We compile hundreds of hours of training, and then we've condensed it into this short 10 to 12 hour training process that you're going to learn all this stuff in, but you'll still understand it at a very high level. We're going to give you that training. We're going to issue tests to make sure you understand it. We're going to have that online portal to where people can go and verify your certification, but then we're going to give you continued education during the process. So as a Solar Panel Pro, you will have required education processes over the year. We have to complete another probably 4 to 6 hours worth of training, which you'll probably get just during your normal training sessions. That will keep you up to date on all the changes in the industry, changes of equipment, and make sure that you are still in compliance with the standards that we are setting for what a Solar Panel Pro should be and what somebody who has a fiduciary responsibility to their customers when discussing funds should actually provide to their customers. This is our current organizational structure. You have the 3 dealer partners, me, Brian, and Vinny. Everybody reports directly to Vinny. When you want to get promoted, everybody starts out down here as a consultant, okay? You're on a 40 cent per watt with a 10 cent probationary hold. What does that mean? It means that for 60 days or 10 sales, whichever one comes first, we're going to hold back 10%, 10 cents of your commission, because that's what's helping the team leads and the area managers be able to get out to you guys, provide a little bit more training, be available for virtual calls, be available for virtual sales calls with customers, and make sure that you're training. Okay. So once you're fully trained up and you're not needing a manager consistently, and that we've dictated about 10 sales shows that somebody's ready to be 100% on their own, then you're at your full 40 cents per watt commission. A team lead is the person that's your first point of contact to the company. This person is, they're your biggest cheerleader. They're the ones who are out there talking with you on a daily basis. They're the ones that if you need help, learning, canvassing, getting motivated, little bit of the stuff for when it comes to sales, that person is going to be there on the very basic level of helping you get established and making sure you're where you need to be. If you need more detailed help, if you're inside of a house, you need help with a sale, you need help with a specific question that's a high level, that's your area manager. That person is right above the team leads and right below Vinny. Okay, they're your second point of contact. That person, if you're inside of a house and the customer has a question that you don't know and your team lead doesn't know, you call your area manager, and if they can't help you, Vinny's going to go ahead and help you. Right? It's going to go directly to Vinny after that. If Vinny's not available, you call me. If Brian's not available, if I'm not available, you call Brian. And as the company starts to grow, we'll have more and more and more teams like this. Okay. The important thing to understand about this process, almost knocked over my desk, about this structure is that you're not alone and you don't have to be afraid to be new. Some of the most successful people I've ever had for my organizations admitted that they were new. And they carry their nose with them inside of a house, because a customer knows right then and there that this person isn't there to sell them. They're there to educate them. Right. They're there to educate that person. And that's really what you should be looking to do, is educate. All right. So right here in this area between the team lead and the area manager, this is where there's a lot of learning happen on how to be able to, first of all, do a lot of managing along the way. Right. But really grow and refine your consulting skills so that you can train everybody else to be proper consultants. But this is the org chart, and there's a lot of money to be made. So team leads, they make a 5 cent override off everybody on the team. Area managers make a 10-cent override off on everybody on the team. Now, the great part about being a consultant doesn't mean, or it means that you can actually start recruiting now. To become a, you have to be outside of your probationary period. You have to sell at least 4 sales a month, and you have to recruit 2 people that have sold one system, and you can become a team lead. Once you become a team lead, you can continue to build your team. Your area manager will help fill up your team. A team lead can have as many consultants underneath them as they possibly can. To become an area manager, you need to have 2 team leads underneath you, with each that has, the 2 people that have sold 1 system. You still require to sell 4 systems a month. Whether you do it off of leads, sales funnels, you do it off of company leads, you do it off of referrals, that doesn't matter. But you're making 55 cents per watt on personal sales. You're making 10-cent override off of everybody on your team. So if your team is selling 500 kilowatts a month, you're making $50,000 a month, just recruiting and being there for your team, not even selling your own personal systems. Okay, cool. So let's get into a couple things about solar and how this stuff is calculated. We're using kilowatt hours in order to calculate. This is just a mile high overview. We're going to go into more detail over the next couple of days. Mile high interview. This is one of the things that you're going to be getting from the customer. You can get a green screenshot of their actual usage over 12 months. This is a shortened one. But if you go for the daily, the hourly, and the monthly, right, you can scroll through and you'll be able to get all 12 months so that you can send it off to the proposals team and they can get you the proposal sent out for you to be able to show your customers. You want the kilowatt hours. We don't need temperatures. We don't need anything else. We don't need any of that crazy stuff like the actual dollar amount. We know what they're paying based off their kilowatt hours. This is what the bill looks like. So this is what a bill looks like. They're all basically the same when it comes down to the type of charges that they charge. Every utility company is a little bit different on how much of the information that they actually disclose. I'm using this one because TEP shows a lot of information. So this is a $245 bill. We're looking at a basic service charge that will stay there forever. In most states, most utility companies will increase that charge depending on that charge. It could go up between $5 to $20. California just got kicked down from being able to increase theirs by per kilowatt on the system, which is fantastic. But you're looking at that charge will stay there forever. This is a charge that's there to keep the customer connected to the grid. And it actually is a federal law that says that a home without power is not habitable. So even if a customer has batteries and they have solar, the government doesn't see that as a sustainable source of power. So they still have to be connected to the grid. So that charge will stay there to be able to provide power in cases of an emergency. This is a tiered charge. So the first 500 kilowatt hours is the first amount of utility. So from 1 to 500 kilowatt hours used in a month, that customer is being charged 7.5 cents. From 500 to 1,000 kilowatt hours used, it's 9.3 cents. And then from 1,000 kilowatt hours plus 1,001 plus, they're at 9.7 cents per kilowatt hour. With these charges, with these charges, the first 500 kilowatt hours for most homes is used within the first week. So you're also seeing an increase in charges the more power you use. So let's think about to our phones for a second. A lot of us have gotten phones, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, doesn't matter who, but usually they offer you a little bit of a discount every time you add an extra phone or get more data or use more data, right? So if you use more with us, we're going to reward you. We're going to charge you less per line, right? You end up spending more in total, but it's less per line. With the utility companies, it seems to be a little bit of a backwards approach on that. And the more power you use, the better customer you are, but we're going to go ahead and charge you more money. Then they're going to go ahead and charge you again here in a minute. So there's another charge here, the Renewable Energy Standard Tariff. Charges for renewable efforts made by the utility company. So this is a couple different things. This is the utility, their hydro, their solar farms, the solar that they buy back from consumers. This is their pamphlets. This is their website saying you should go solar and why you should go solar. They're required by law to provide a certain amount of information on renewable sources and have a certain amount of renewable sources of energy. So instead of taking that charge and actually, just having the company pay for it, they pass it on to the customer. And you can see that with all these other charges, including the summer charge. So we have 2 charges here. We have the delivery service charge and the power supply. Delivery service is how much electricity you use in this power supply. They're charging you again for getting it to your house. This is paying for the infrastructure. Reason why is because, well, you can't exactly, bottle it up like the milkman and drop it off the front door. They have a whole infrastructure they have to pay for. So you can't blame them for charging you. Well, you can't blame them for charging you again, but you'd hope that they wouldn't want to, right? That's an extra $51 a month. If we take a look at what they said that we're being billed, it's a fraction compared to what the actual bill is. That second charge right there alone was $51. Now they're saying we're being charged roughly about 10 cents per kilowatt hour here, right? When we divide this up, it's actually looking at 15.4 cents per kilowatt hour is what we're actually being charged. You take the total amount of the bill divided by the usage, that gives you your per kilowatt hour charge. So this is why you start seeing bills like this. People get excited. Hey, my old bill used to be $440 a month. Now it's only $124 a month. Hey, I have no payment due. I have a bill credit of $70.84. Hey, I have an amount due of only $18. Why is that? Well, my net meter was 127 kilowatt hours credited to me, and that took off the charges. So those are good news right there for a lot of those customers. It makes people very, very happy when they start seeing bills like these. So we have to explain how that works. So just so you guys understand a little bit about how this works, this is my happy house. And the happy house is essentially just one of the houses down the road that has solar. And that customer put that solar on the roof so that during the day, those panels can collect the sun. That sun is going to transfer from the panel. That sun power is going to transfer from the panels down to the house. The inverter is going to change that from sun power to house power, DC to AC, direct current to alternating current. That power is going to go back to the utility company. If it's net metering, it's all the excess power that's being used. If it's DG export, they're going to use it to discount the bill. Either way, it comes back to you in the form of bill credit. You're only going to charge for the amount that you're using from the utility company that's over what your actual bill credit was applied to your system. Then it goes back to all the neighbors. So that utility company can't just hold on to the power. They can't. They're just not going to store it somewhere. They're going to send it off everywhere else. They're going to use it for the businesses and the other homes. So you used a whole bunch of power. It's going to go ahead and send back over here. You're going to go ahead and pay back the utility company, the utility costs, and the renewable energy standard tariff that we just talked about a moment ago. So it works just like we just showed you a second ago. $100 in utility bill. If you have a $150 bill credit, you're still positive $50 bill credit in your system. So it brings another point, DG export and net metering. Every utility company is a little bit different depending on your territory. You'll be taught a little bit differently about how that works. So this is just a good encompassing happy house on how it works, because either way, the power that's being generated is going to go back to the grid. It's going to come back to you in the form of bill credit. How that bill credit is established is based off of the type of utility, or how the utility company is determining that, whether it's net metering, it's DG export, or some other program that's out there. But this is a nice little simple example that we like to use for all of our customers. This is how you get some uniforms, guys. 20 kilowatts sold, just the dry fit sheet, and I'm wearing right here. You got a Solar Panel Pro certified hat, 30 kilowatts. And at 40 kilowatts, you get the jacket. Now it's going to be changing some stomach stuff here in a little bit, but we earn this stuff. We will have some knocking shirts. Take Solar Panel Pro right across the chest. We're going to have some fun uniforms and stuff that are going to be coming up here in a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go through how to register on the website with you guys here in a minute and give you guys your full homework of what you need to do. But before we do that, does anybody have any questions, concerns, grunts, gripes, moans for me?
So in California, are we going to have to take the test to get certified for California? For us?
So no, this is full encompassing unless California is requiring anything specific right now, and I don't believe it.
But I thought, we have Titans installing. I thought the salespeople still have to be certified. That's what I thought.
There's a certain so it's depending on.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what California. I've been out for 2 years and I haven't looked into what California is requiring right now.
if people are going door to door out here,
Just the solicitation stuff.
there's a home improvement salesperson's license, but you actually have they call it HIS license. You have to actually go through the state to be able to get that and get fingerprinted, all that sort of thing. It's a several week process. Just like it's pretty quick to get it uploaded, but the state takes several weeks to actually process it. But we it it's a state requirement. None of our finance companies are going to requirement, but just for ethical purposes, if we do have teams, when we have teams out here, we're gonna want them to have that.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions?
No, that's actually it. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Gabriel, you got any questions? No. Brian, anything? Okay, cool. So
good.
homework tonight is really simple. What's up, Gabriel?
It was just me saying it's all good.
So I know Gabriel's been hitting, he's been texting me, he's been hitting some dead spots.
Yeah,
Everybody,
I'm good here.
there it is. Is to go to solarpanelpro.com/SPP consultant register. Once you register, I'm already registered. Once you register, it's going to take you to the homepage, which looks just like this. This will be a daily report that we put up for everybody. It's going to have our quarterly goals at 500 kilowatts a quarter, if not more. And then we'll go ahead and keep up-to-date information every hour on the number of doors knocked based off the app and all that stuff, which will be nice to have. In the meantime, there is a search here. So once you guys are fully certified, you'll see the difference between me, Brian, Jen, and you guys right now. So you can do a couple of things in here. So Vinny has a profile, so I'll go ahead and go to Vinny, and then Gabriel has a profile as well. So if you go to Vinny's profile, he doesn't have a lot of information. You can edit this profile by clicking on accounts and edit account home. Can't remember if it's account home or profile. Yeah, sorry, edit profile. Click on edit profile. It's going to bring you here. You can put your name and all that stuff inside of it. If you just go to the search and go to your profile, so if I went to mine, you could change your header image. You can use this as a drop for the website. You can copy this and send it off. I am gold certified. I can put up my own little YouTube video or introduction that you want up there. You'll put Solar Panel Pro. You'll have your website URL so you can / it. I'm going to hide Olympus Solar Inc. stuff. Don't worry. And then your email address, your direct contact information, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, your YouTube. This is how you can show people that you are Solar Panel Pro certified and verify it. Because if you're not on here, then you have the seal. Somebody just came on, they copy pasted it. Okay. So your job today is to go in there and do that. If you click the settings in the right-hand corner of your screen, you have access to change all of this stuff. You can put your bio in there. You can put your YouTube video link in there. You can't upload this. Once your stuff is in there and I see your profile picture and I see your cover photo and I see that you've put a lot of this information in there tonight, I will be putting your Solar Panel Pro in training badge right here. Once you finish the training courses and you're certified, it will change to the standard gold logo. But yeah, Brian has one. I don't know if he's got a lot of his stuff in there yet, but I'm going to go to edit profile for him. So he is gold certified. Some of his information is up there with the company information. Brian, you're welcome to go in there and update yours as well. And then Gabriel, he has his up here. I'm admin, so mine says edit profile on everybody. So go in there, update your profile picture, update your header image, click your settings so that you can put all the other information there for yourself. And I'll be putting your, let's go ahead and do it right now for you so you guys can see it. See a lot of files, guys. If you guys try to upload a photo, it's just going to upload blank, just so you know. It's not gonna let me do it right now. I can hear my computer dying. But let's stop the screen share, it'll probably work. But yeah, so that's gonna be it. You guys will have the in training. See, now it's uploading, and I stop the screen share. Here. And I'll put one up for Vinny. But we'll do this for all of our reps. This will be the homework after every orientation. They're required to go in there and do that. If they don't do it, then that's on them. It takes 5 minutes to go to the registration link and update your information. There we go. So now, Vinny's profile has an in-training badge that he can proudly show to all of his customers. All right, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Everything else in here is pretty simple. You have the document library. In the document library, you can access, it's the exact, not the exact same tree, but it's a broken down method of it. I've written out 99 sales clinchers. These are things that can help people inside of a house. So when you open up the 99 sales clinchers, it's, I spend a lot of time putting these together because they work. They're little things that are inside the house that help you gain attention back onto what you're doing. And there's soft closes along the way. So like, what's the cheapest gas you can remember? So if you had an option of purposely locking that in for the rest of your life, it'd be a no-brainer, right? And you can go through, and if you save 5 to 10 of these inside of a house, you can really gauge the customer's interest a little bit more, and helps you get more sales more often. The best way to save money is to buy once and buy right. Wouldn't you agree? This is my absolute favorite one right there. So especially if they're looking at RECs and you're selling LG panels, the best way to sell solar is buy once and buy right, or the best way is to save money. The price of your solar system will soon be forgotten, but the benefits will last for years to come. Isn't that so? Don't you agree? From looking around your home, it's obvious you appreciate quality. This solar system is of the highest quality and performance. Wouldn't you agree that the quality is long remembered after price is forgotten? So these sales clinchers, memorize them as many as you can. So I've always told everybody to remember 5 a week. You remember 5 a week, and you will sell more and more systems. It gives those dead zones. When you are inside of a home and you are not delivering the questions that you would like to deliver, and you are just blurting out information, this helps when you're training new people too. After every page, hop in and have them read one of these things. They're going to sell more systems more often. Your solar system is a unique warranty, which includes, and you go, does your utility provide anything like this? I'm sure you wouldn't tell your friend to pay $4 for gas if you knew you can get it for $2, would you? Right? That's how you ask for referrals. So I spend a lot of time writing these things out, and these are all things that I've practiced and they've worked. I have specific home efficiency ones in here as well that would help you guys out. I'm sure that you wouldn't decide, I'm sure you don't want to decide where your next vacation is going if based on how much you pay for your electricity, right? That's actually a really good one too. So you have a lot of fun with these. You can have access to download these. So if you go to your document library and you click on sales documents, it's the first one. Okay. So you click on that one. And then right here, you have your dirty dozen. I'm still filling these out. I have a couple of the really good ones in there. The dirty dozen is a fun one. It's an actual paragraph on how to overcome some of these objections that they're giving you. It's like the I can't afford it objection. So right now you're spending blank every single month to keep your food cold, your lights on, and keep the house at a comfortable temperature, right? Well, yeah. So if you decided not to go solar today for some weird reason, next year, how much are you going to pay for the same amount of electricity to keep your food cold, your lights on, and your house at a comfortable temperature? And then refer to the escalator. How about in 5 years? How about in 10 years? Great. So by putting solar on your roof, you'll be generating power to keep your food cold, your lights on, and keep the house at a comfortable temperature. How much does this save you this year? 5 years? 10 years? So is it really going to be anything different than what you're doing with the utility company right now? So if you can eliminate the electric bill and save this every single month and nothing out of pocket, wouldn't you agree you aren't spending any money at all, just switching who you're paying? These are some good, really in-depth objections, way to overcome objections out of a house for some folks who need some help with some of that. Another variation. You're right. You can't afford solar. Let me ask you a question. Do you plan on retiring? When you retire, what typically happens? Does your income go up or down? Right. It usually levels out, and if you're lucky, or it goes down, which means that you must do something. It starts with a B. It's an offensive word. It starts with a B and ends with an budget. Oh, you got a budget, right? They're not interested. It's a smokescreen objection. How to get to those. So we have a couple really good ones in here. I'm going to be adding more to these, and I'm going to be uploading the new ones, and I'll let you guys know when the new ones are up there. But the Dirty Dozen is in here for you guys to look at. And then the actual commission structure itself is here. And then the utility documents, that's going to be a new portion. So it'll look a lot like some of the other pages on the career section, where it just pops down and you can start, going through and downloading the documents that you need per state. The adders section, adders and adjustments, we're going to have the adders up here available to view whenever you want, as well as the bonus structures, depending on that month. So every month that'll change, and then the commission structure is in there as well. And then the customer documents, I'm going to be adding a lot of these. So the welcome packet. So everybody's going to have their own style. Some people are going to want to deliver an actual paper packet to a customer. They can print it out, fill it out for the customer. It'll be SPP approved. Warranty information, production guarantee, referral sheet. We will have in here some approved messaging for Facebook ads and stuff like that as well. So there'll be another one there. And then managers have another section. Other than that, the SPP career section is a great place to send people to immediately, apply. You send them to spp.com/SPP-careers. They can see one of our recruiting videos, and they can go by state, per the area, click on learn more. It'll take them to our actual advertisement that will be, or the ad that will be on like LinkedIn and stuff. They can read the job description, apply now. It'll take them straight to the application. That application will go to me, Vinny, and Brian, and one of the three of us will call them within 24 hours, set them up on one of the virtual interviews, and get them on the team within a couple of days, with the following week after they get the certification done. But yeah, you can do this anywhere. You can, if you're on the doors, you can literally tell people. You find a crew out there. It's like, hey man, I want to do what you guys do. solarpanelpro.com/apply. But yeah, that's it. Ended with 18 minutes to spare. So let's go ahead and open up the floor. Feel free to unmute yourselves and speak freely. Any questions, concerns, grunts, scraps, moans?